Hey there, person behind a screen. Welcome back to this week's Tuesday tip, where in this video we're going to be talking about one big reason that your brakes could suck. So what we're going to be talking about today is the pivot point on your brake lever where the lever itself actually moves. If you didn't know, there are brass bushings inside of here that if they get worn out and rough, they can make for an equally as rough and worn out brake pull. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this bolt out here, right here. We're gonna take this bolt out. We're gonna take the actual lever itself out, and we're gonna see how the bushings in my brake lever look, because I haven't taken this apart since I got it. All right, the bolt is out. So now we're just going to take the lever out as well. Oh, actually, okay. So here's one thing for the Odyssey mono lever. This bolt is not the only thing that has to come out. I forgot. There's actually a little collar type thing that goes through the lever itself that the bolt screws into that you have to take out as well. So now that these are out, the brake lever should come out. There you go. And you can see the bushing. So my bushing is actually in pretty good shape. Try and get a better view here. It's a little dirty because I put some tri-flow in here before to try and make it smoother. That's another thing that you can do if your bushings are good and your brakes are still pulling bad. So there's a bushing on top, and then there's the bushing on the bottom. And if you take these apart and part of it's missing, or it just, the metal's beat up, rough looking, chances are you're gonna wanna replace it. And usually brake levers come with these to replace because it's a known issue. So I looked on the internet and most brake levers that I saw said something about this. So chances are, if you have a brake lever and your brakes are not, chances are if you have a brake lever, of course you have a brake lever if you have brakes. Chances are, if your brakes aren't pulling good and your cables are fine, you have no friction points other than the typical ones, then this is probably your issue. You want to replace your bushings, put your lever back in, and if you have the Odyssey mono lever, you put the collar piece in first in the bottom and line it up, and then you just put your bolt back in. One thing to talk about is that if your bushings are fine and your brakes still don't pull very well, you're going to want to check your cables, because there could be a kink, there could be some other issue that's binding your cables up. Also check your brake springs, because if you have your brake springs too tight, that could also cause it to not pull as good. But usually this is one big issue that you don't really think about. Another thing to think about too is you don't want to have it too tight, because if you tighten this bolt too much, it pinches down on the parts where the lever goes in and the bushings and doesn't let it pull or move as easily. One way to tell if your bushings are junk without actually taking your lever apart is doing this wiggle right here. If this moves a lot, like a huge amount, chances are that there's no bushings in there, because the bushings are what's taking up that excess space between the actual housing, or whatever you want to call it here, and the pivot point of the lever itself. So pretty much, if your brakes suck, check your bushings, check your cables, check your springs. Between those are the only things that really make it up. You should be able to find it, but chances are, if your brakes are terrible and you can't find any other issues, this is where your problem's at. If your bushings are fine, lube it, put some tri-flow on there, check your cables, and should be good to go. One other thing I wanted to add in here is that this is what the bushings look like when they're brand new with the Odyssey mono lever. It comes with an extra bolt and 2 bushings. They're brass, so this is what they look like brand new. And this is what you're going to want to replace if The ones that are in here do not look like this. Hopefully at least a few of you found this video useful. If so, share it with somebody who has really terrible brakes, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.